In the TV series The Crown, Prince Philip has a line where he says to Queen Elizabeth II, "Have our sons and daughters swapped places? The son is like the daughter, and the daughter is like the son." The son referred to by Philip is naturally Prince Charles, and the daughter is our protagonist today, Princess Anne. As the only daughter among the 4 children of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, there is a saying among the British public that Princess Anne is the son that Prince Philip had always wished for. This spirited British princess, compared to her elder brother Charles, is indeed more like her father in her straightforward demeanour. Even in terms of sharp wit and a penchant for scowling, she has fully inherited Prince Philip's traits, leading to the ongoing belief that she is the most favoured child of Prince Philip. Princess Anne was born in 1950 at Clarence House in London, 18 months younger than Prince Charles. She is the second child of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. At that time, Elizabeth was still a princess, but her father, King George VI, was in declining health, and many official duties had been handed over to the future heir. Therefore, Charles and Anne had few days to enjoy their parents' company during their early childhood. When Anne was 2 years old, Queen Elizabeth II was officially crowned, and her royal duties became even busier. Sometimes, foreign visits lasted for half a year, leaving Anne and Charles to rely on each other at the palace. Anne spent her childhood having private lessons with Charles at the palace until she went to school for the first time in junior high. Members of the British royal family seem to have never been particularly adept at studying. Queen Elizabeth II and her sister Margaret both received homeschooling and never attended school for a day. Anne had average grades in high school, and after enduring until graduation, she could become a full-time member of the royal family. From then on, she decided to bid farewell to exams. So, what is the life of a full-time princess like? Naturally, it involves representing the British royal family at various events. The official duties she took on early were of high significance. In 1969, at the age of 19, Anne, along with her brother Charles, embarked on an official visit to the United States and met then-President Nixon. It was evident that Anne, at the time, had not fully adapted to such state visits. Over the following decades, although Anne's demeanour softened to some extent, the cool and reserved tone largely defined her life. Of course, Anne's resistance to and distance from the media can be attributed not only to her inherent personality but also to the intense scrutiny of royal life by the British media. For instance, Princess Anne's greatest hobby is equestrianism, and she frequently participates in various competitions. Consequently, whenever there is an event involving her, the media swarms, eagerly following her every move. If, by chance, Anne happens to fall from her horse, it is sure to make headlines the next day. Of course, more than equestrian competitions, what attracts the media even more are the various boyfriends of the princess. Since Anne was 18 years old, none of the young men she dated could escape the watchful eyes of the media. The background information of each person was thoroughly exposed by the media. One of these individuals is named Mark Phillips, who is an old acquaintance of Princess Anne. They met due to their shared love for equestrianism, with their first encounter taking place at the equestrian events of the 1968 Mexico City Olympics. Mark is a skilled equestrian athlete, and in 1972, he helped secure the championship for the British team in the men's equestrian team event at the Munich Olympics. In May 1973, Princess Anne and Mark Phillips announced their engagement. Later that same year, in November, the two had their wedding ceremony at Westminster Abbey. Anne became the first of Queen Elizabeth II's 4 children to get married. The wedding day attracted numerous onlookers and was televised live, causing a sensation at the time. Just a few months after their marriage, an unexpected kidnapping incident occurred. On March 20, 1974, Princess Anne's car was forcibly stopped on a London thoroughfare by a Ford car. A gunman emerged from the vehicle, attempting to kidnap the princess. Subsequently, the assailant, holding a gun, demanded that Princess Anne exit the car, stating that he wanted £2 million to be donated to charity in exchange for her release. However, Anne remained calm and resolutely refused to leave the vehicle. At that moment, a passerby intervened, delivering a punch to the assailant. The kidnapper was disoriented and subsequently subdued by the arriving police. Princess Anne emerged from the incident unharmed, and the other injured individuals were not in life-threatening condition. Nevertheless, the kidnapping shocked the entire United Kingdom. Queen Elizabeth II later awarded the Queen's Gallantry Medal to those who had bravely confronted the assailant. The individual who delivered the crucial punch turned out to be a boxer, and the Queen even helped him pay off his mortgage in recognition of his courageous act. After their marriage, Anne and Mark led a relatively low-key life. Mark focused on his career, while Anne day by day attended royal duties. The couple had a son and a daughter, but the marriage, given the significant differences in their strengths and the apparent lack of favor towards Mark within the entire royal family, faced challenges. Consequently, Mark naturally chose to spend more time abroad, and the couple often found themselves living apart, with infrequent reunions. Soon, Anne had an extramarital affair with a London detective named Klaus, who was married and had children. Klaus was not exactly a virtuous person either. A few years after the end of Anne's relationship with him, he sold their story to the tabloids. On Mark's side, he also didn't remain idle. He had an affair in New Zealand, and later it was confirmed that they had a love child born in 1985, just 4 years younger than Mark and Anne's youngest daughter. However, at that time, no one really thought that Princess Anne would actually get divorced until a bizarre incident in 1989 brought her private life back into the spotlight. It's worth noting that, during that period, the most talked about figure in the royal family was her sister-in-law, Diana. Here's what happened. Princess Anne's private letters were stolen from Buckingham Palace, and these letters confirmed a romantic correspondence from a Queen's Guard named Timothy to Anne. The explicit love letters were sold to the Sun newspaper. Although the Sun maintained some journalistic ethics by not publicly revealing the contents of the letters, the extramarital affair was now established. Everyone knew that the princess had an affair with a royal guard, and Timothy, who was previously unknown, became the subject of media frenzy with various outlets competing to interview him. After this incident, Anne instead gave up concealing and openly pursued a relationship with Tim. In the same year, she announced her separation from Mark. 8 months after their formal divorce in 1992, Anne and Tim once again entered the realm of matrimony. At that time, the princess was 42, and Tim was 37. After their marriage, Tim often followed in the princess's footsteps, leading a somewhat subdued life. However, the couple decided not to have children, and the princess continued to attend royal duties on her own. Consequently, within the royal family, Tim's presence remained relatively low-key. Actually, aside from her personal life, Anne is considered a very reliable member of the royal family. Over her more than 70-year princess career, she has been diligent and dedicated. In the equestrian field she loves, she has won championships at the European Championships and was the first British royal member to participate in the Olympics. Currently, she also serves as the chair of the British Olympic Association. Her significant contributions were recognized during the 2012 Olympics in London. In her official duties, she can be described as a hardworking model, attending several hundred events on average each year, including important state visits. For instance, in 1990, Anne, as the first British royal member to visit the Soviet Union after its establishment, was received by Gorbachev. In 2020, she celebrated her 70th birthday, but she showed no signs of retirement. If you ignore the wrinkles on her face and just observe her upright posture and slender figure, it's hard to believe she's a 70-year-old. In this aspect, she resembles her father, Prince Philip, who only retired in his 90s.